We're live? Yes, I believe we're live again. It's great to meet you all. I'm Christine Bell. This is all about learning and growing together in business because it gets really lonely sometimes. And I'm super excited. Royce is back with me. I think it's the third time, but I love having you on because you are a true professional. So I kind of sit here and learn from you and how you do it. So this is kind of learn and grow on the go, basically. So Royce, please tell us a little bit more about yourself. Obviously, you're a radio personality. I also just want to say hello to Jeff. Thank you so much for being here. We love you. And over to you, Royce.
Absolutely, Christine. Always great to be with you. It's never like an interview. It's always like a conversation, and that's what makes you a pro. And yes, I was on the radio for a long time. I would still be, but they don't need humans in radio much anymore these days. So I definitely got into marketing and became a marketing strategist. I've been a copywriter, a content creator, and a marketing coach for well over 20 years now. And these days, I'm working on helping people build vocal confidence because I don't know how you feel, Christine, but it might have been the pandemic. It maybe is the educational system, but I don't know if you see this, but here in the States, people don't like to talk to each other much anymore.
I think there's something to, I think I've seen that trend as well. Obviously, I love talking.
Especially young people. It's like, man, I have to make a phone call and talk to a real person? Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? We just stopped talking to each other. But the good news is you can fix that with small, deliberate steps. I've got a brand new phrase. I don't know, it's probably a really old phrase, but I just ran across it a couple of days ago and it really hit home for me. And the phrase is change happens at the speed of safety. And if you think about that, we'll only change as much as it feels safe to change, right?
Yeah.
And I understand a lot of people are shy, they're introverted, maybe they're afraid. It's the same thing with public speaking or being behind a microphone. You're not really afraid of your speaking skills. You're afraid of being judged, right? So that's what we're all afraid of. If we meet someone else, a stranger or someone we have to deal with, like a boss, for instance, and we get so scared of being judged, we just want to hold back and we become quiet.
It's so true.
I just started thinking about all these different ways you can take, baby steps. Instead of bicep curls, I call them conversation curls. So you can start small and build yourself up to being a powerful speaker. And I've talked about this over and over again, but the number one thing to do is record yourself. Record yourself as much as possible. Get on one of these. No one has to see it. But if you record yourself, and by the way, I'm sure I've mentioned this many times before, I've got a free guide. It's called From Mic Shy to Camera Confident. It's only like 15 pages, and it explains exactly how to record yourself and then watch it back. And we won't dive that much into that, but it's all right there. It's free on my website, and we can throw the link in or whatever. But
I definitely throw the link in. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I just want to say, Jeff is saying change happens at the speed of safety. That was me years ago. No more. I had to break out of my shell to do what I'm loving,
And he loves it.
Yeah.
Good for you,
And
Jeff.
I also want to say, I also had to learn, right? It didn't just come natural to me, even though I like being on the stage. But I teach at the university, and everything you said is so true, right? Because I have the first year university business school students. They have been brought up during lockdowns and with phones. So they, even when they're sitting in a group work, they will literally sit on their phones and talk to each other or the computer rather than actually having a conversation. And what we teach is also, I also teach them to speak because they have to do an innovation, like a startup, human-centered design innovation. And then they have to present like a Shark Tank or Dragon Den or whatever, right? So they have to present, and they are so terrified of it. Some of them have, secondary English is secondary to them, etc. But they're terrified nonetheless, right? And the thing you said before is around safety. I have to
Right.
create for them to get up. I have to create them to feel psychologically safe in that room to get them up. So what I do is, you love this, right? First day, first class, they look around on each other, 46 of them staring at each other. Most of them don't know each other. And I go, right, who wants to come up and speak now? And they're like, holy no. And then it's up to me. And you know what? I make them do it, right? And then what I do is with them, I go, okay, we all have to clap because that makes us feel better. We can, and then I make my student give them 3 positive, or whoever's up there needs to get 3 positive things said about what they did well.
That's great.
And they learn.
Yeah. Yes, you bet. And especially like public speaking, you're not going to die, even though it feels like it. 2, it's all adrenaline, right? That's what's happening. But the studies have showed somewhere between 7 and 15 seconds in, that will go away.
Yes.
You realize your brain realizes, hey, wait a second, I'm not in danger. This is okay. And that's why it's so important, if you're going to give a speech or any kind of presentation, get that intro down. Spend that 15 seconds of terror with something you already know, and that will dissipate your fear almost every time. And the other thing I remind them is, believe me, your audience is not thinking about your next words. They're thinking about their hair. So, once you get it, or their grocery list or whatever, they're off, the brain we speak at about 125 words a minute, somewhere in there. The brain processes at over 500 words a minute. Some say 900 words a minute. So the brain is going much faster than you could ever talk. So people are always, I think about it. We all sit there and like, oh man, this sounds like a boring part. I wonder if I need to change that oil. That's where they are. So get over that. But I like ease into building vocal confidence, right? Start with something small. A short conversation with the checkout person you see every time you go to the grocery store. Just open up with something. One of my favorites is, besides, here's one that you shouldn't use that I thought was funny. And I asked a checkout girl one time, how long did you go to school for this? She didn't appreciate that too much. But,
you didn't get a laugh back, did you?
No sense of humor whatsoever. So, but I like to ask people, hey, what are you excited about? Things like that, something to get them to open up. And you don't even have to go that deep. Just have a short conversation. How's your day going? Or, hey, anything new coming up I should know about? Little things. And you'll start to come out of your shell. Maybe at the next event you're at, make yourself ask a question. Make yourself, even if it's a dumb question, a small question. Same in a meeting. If you're at a meeting at work, you already know these people. If they didn't like that you microwaved a tuna sandwich 2 weeks ago in the microwave, then they're not going to jump on you right now about some question you asked. So make sure you stand up, ask the first question. That's a big leap to get out of your introversion. So, want to keep going? Join a class. Maybe it's something a cooking class, maybe a book club, something like that. But you need to get out there and start practicing your skill of communication. And people.
What about their mindset too? Do you also do the work on their mindset? Because sometimes it's like, this belief, oh, I'm not good enough. No one wants to hear what I said because mom and dad never wanted to hear what I had to say. All those stuff that we all carry around. I just want to say, Jeff says, it's an awesome guide and must get to the viewers today.
I appreciate that, Jeffrey. Thank you so much. Yes, it does work, because the whole secret is getting used to you. And that's what, once you get used to seeing yourself, and remember, no one else has to see you practice. You can delete. I always tell people, keep the first recording, because in just a few weeks, you're going to be amazed at how much you've come, how far you've gone. So, record yourself and start. You'll pick up on things. Wow, I say every 5 seconds. The secret to recording yourself is not recording your sales pitch That's fine. Start with that, but record yourself for 5 minutes. That's a long time. Believe me, I know. I've talked for hours on the
No,
radio.
I've done, and I've done the 5 minutes. The first video I put on LinkedIn, I always say this, the first video, I'm like, I've got to put a video up. I've got to do it. But I was so terrified. I edited them smack out of this thing as I was reading a script here, right? Like this.
Right.
Edited smack out of it. And I put it out there anyway. I'm like, I'm just going to put it out there. And that was really overcoming my limiting belief up here that I had nothing to add, right? That people would not want to hear what I had to say. And you know how I started the sentence, the thing? I said, hello, this is my first video. And
which is okay. That's fine.
I got so much support. Like I got so much support for it.
See, that's the other thing. People will give you bonus points in their heads just for you having the guts to stand up and ask a question or make a statement or, gosh, give an entire presentation. Man, I don't like this guy, but I could never do that. And if you think about it, you're just talking. No one's going to die here. And if you think about all the other people, think of all the bad presentations you sat through or classes. I mean, yeah, you were bored, but did you hold any, animosity towards this person? Did you ever walk up? I have on the air a lot of times, or just call up and go, hey, you suck. After a while, you get used to it. It doesn't, always.
But I also think a lot of people.
Thing. Hey, thanks for listening. That's, and it makes it even matter. So, I mean, no one's going to, you're not going to get hurt. Let's put it that way. And
I also want to say, if you don't mind me interrupting, they're not only not just going to get hurt, but also imagine that, yes, there are a couple of assholes out there, right? But most people are actually supportive of you more than you think.
Absolutely.
And they actually respect it when they realize that you are trying to put yourself out there and that is not easy. And they actually will be your wingman. They will actually support you even if you don't realize it. So
you bet.
You have to also think
I've
more
been in
positive about other
presentations where
people.
I've been in presentations where I've lost my place and I just admitted it. I'm like, I'm sorry. What were we talking about? And somebody's like, oh, you were on the, Gemini 7 flight. I don't know. I just made that up. Could you tell? And they're like, oh, yeah, thanks. They want you to win too.
Yes.
And if you walk into, especially a presentation, it's not a selfish thing. You're not like, I'm just going to ask this question so I can push down this, this shyness. You want to serve. If you come from a place of serving, then I'm like today, I'm here to tell as many people as I possibly can how they can get over being an introvert or being shy or being afraid to speak up, because it's awesome. You talk about an edge. You're judged on your voice. I don't care what level you're at. That's usually in a few seconds. People are going to decide whether you're professional, whether you're strong, whether you're kind. They're going to judge you on a whole latitude of different things, and your voice is the first thing they're going to hear and make that decision. So why not work on it?
Exactly. And I had to learn with an accent as well. I can't pronounce, certain words in English and etc. And I just kind of had to get over it. Yeah. And just embrace my imperfection and my personality and my
Absolutely
accent, etc. and my English.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question that I think, hey, Jason, it's great to see you here. And Jeff is saying, Royce doesn't mince his words. He goes to the point. He loves it. But I want to ask you a question. How did you get into radio? Did you have to go and practice and do a couple of takes with them? What happened? How was your voice back then?
Well, it was way back it was junior high school, and we went on a field trip. If you remember, I don't know if they had those in Denmark or Australia or whichever country you'd like to choose that you're from.
Denmark. Growing up.
Go to a school and, you go to the dairy and watch how milk is made or whatever. Well, we went to this radio station, and I walked in, and there was this guy with his legs kicked up on the console, smoking a cigar, with awesome tunes blasting out of the speakers.
You thought that's
And I
my
asked
job.
him, I said, do you get paid for this? And he just looked at me and went, crazy, huh? And I'm like, that's it. That's my job. You know?
I'm
So I
gonna sit
want
there,
that.
smoke cigars, and be happy.
So yeah, I played disc jockey for a long time. In fact, I built it was only public address at first, but a radio station in my high school where I would play songs, play tunes at lunch when everybody was at lunch. And, you know, I'd play disc jockey. And
Were
I
you ever
finally got my
shy?
first real paying radio job was in Los Angeles at a great station called 10Q. And if anybody knows that, I love you because it was an awesome station. And I like to say I started in LA and I worked my way down ever since. So, you know.
I love that. Now, did you ever were you ever shy? Did you ever worry about speaking, or did you not have that problem at all?
Oh, yes. Yes. My dad, a freshman of high school, well, the cool kids were jocks or were in the band. He made me take speech. I'm like,
I took speech
speech?
in America too.
Who wants speech? It changed my life. It's the best thing you can do for a kid because you get once again, it's just, I don't know what, 10 students in the class, 20 maybe. And they're all going through the same thing. They're all scared to death. We don't know what we're doing. And I just got better and better and better. But once again, once you realize, you'll get to the point where you realize no one more successful than you will ever put you down. That took me a long time to learn.
Oh, that's interesting.
So forget their opinions, forget any, and like I said, answer the request line for a while, and man, that'll straighten you. You lose your ego right away. You know? And so, yeah, it's just, you know, one of my favorite quotes from Tony Robbins is repetition is the mother of skill. So the more you do something, the better you're going to get at it. Doesn't matter what it is. The more times you do it, the better you're going to be.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this, I actually went to high school in Wisconsin for a year as an exchange student. So I moved to Wisconsin in 1988 to go to high school for a year. Didn't speak it. I barely spoke a few words of English, right? And I had to literally do schooling in English. And I took speech class as well there in English.
Excellent. Yeah, and you had to get over it, right? Because you didn't have a choice. So, yeah. If you want to try something really, you know, let's say, okay, you've joined a book club or a cooking club. You're talking to waiters and waitresses and checkout people, and you're getting up in meetings. You want to really go crazy, join an improv class or a dance class, you know, something where you have to perform. And after that, I love improv because you're going to, plus other people are in the same boat as you are. So you're going to get out of your shell, whether you like it or not. That's, you know, that's part of the requirements. So it's basically all comes down to the same thing. And that's getting used to you. When I was on the air, I was hearing myself in headphones live. I mean, you remember the first time you heard your voice recorded, right? You're like, who the hell is that? And, you know, do I sound like that? Of course, because we hear our voices through bone. We're hearing it through the bones in our skull. Microphones and other people hear our voices through the air. So it's a totally different medium. And that's how you know exactly how you sound. And guess what? The microphone on your phone, here's how you sound to other people. It's not going to lie. Yes. And after you get used to hearing yourself and seeing yourself over and over, you'll start to notice, hey, I always end every sentence on a down point. And you had no idea you were doing it. Or you can up talk, right? A lot of women do this. They always like, hey, does chicken Alfredo sound good? Right? So it's up talk. So there are all these little things, and by themselves, they don't matter that much. But worst thing you can be is monotone. And we've all heard those presentations, right? The guy starts off.
They've learned the script and they're just
We're
repeating.
going to be here for, and then we'll cover syllabus 339. And after that, we'll move on to the Jurassic Park era, whatever. Your voice is an instrument, right? You know, you don't use a guitar, right? You don't use a piano. So why do we use our voice? You play a guitar, you play a piano. So why not use your voice as the instrument it is? Play with it. You can deal with pacing, talk faster, talk slower. Maybe it's the pitch, up, down, sideways, whatever, volume, or maybe it's a whisper. And my number one rule that everyone should practice, and you'll get used to this once you start getting used to you, is the pause, because the pause is the most powerful part of speech. And we're afraid of it as humans.
Yes,
because we hate vacuums. If there's silence, we have to fill it. And, that's where you get the ums and, you know what I mean? And like, if I was going to talk to you, like this, it would kind of be like really annoying, right? But if I was going to talk to you like this, and I put in just a minor pause or two, it does two things. It gets rid of the ums, filler words are what they're called, and it makes what you say next powerful. That's why the pause, I think, is the most important part of building any vocal confidence.
I totally agree with you. And there's a really big other benefit to the pause, which is people need a little bit of time to absorb what's being said. You are doing them a favor by stopping to let them just go, all right, this is what I've heard. And now I'm ready to hear the next part. But I have to say, I had actually, from everything you said, after I put out that video, my first video, I had an actress contact me on LinkedIn going, hey, can I give you a few pointers? And she said, she said exactly what you said. Do impromptu, do not script it at all. Just have one point that you want to remember, and then film yourself, but only film yourself a couple of times. After that, you're going to sound rehearsed. Then you have to let it go and come back to it another day because you can't be too rehearsed. And then, of course, intonation is very important in terms of that as well. Jeff is saying the pause, that is a big component to my podcast I'm working on in 2026. I'm also this is turning into a podcast, but I'm learning now about all the EGO and SEO and all that stuff on YouTube that you have to get right when you put your world.
It's a whole new world, Christine.
It's not just uploading it. I have to get the actual thumbnail and the words right for it to even pick up, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. The awesome part of the era we're living in, and I don't think enough people realize what we're in. We're in an era now, picture like the invention of the gasoline engine or electricity. AI is changing everything forever, and we're right in the middle of it. And one of the awesome things about living in this era is you can be real. And when I talk about vocal confidence, I'm not talking about having a radio voice. I'm talking about using your voice the best you can. And it's awesome. If you have an accent, if you have a thin voice, that's fine, because people know it's you. People are going to crave human more than ever. So, it's awesome that, because now, you've seen all the videos or TV spots or, things on LinkedIn where you can tell it's an AI voice, right? Because all of a sudden it's like, how come this Indian guy sounds like he's from Texas? Just little things. It's just like, wow, I didn't think he sounded like that. That's because he doesn't. So, but yeah, it sounds awesome. But, but we're living in an era. I think we're going to swing back. Things are so artificial. People are going to crave real. And that includes mistakes. That includes screw ups.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If I just may interrupt you, I totally agree with you. I think the world is we live in a world where it's a world of polarity. So when we get too much of one thing, it has to swing back because now we've got to be in balance, right? The universe has to be in balance. So whatever we go too much AI, which is where we're going now, fully in that way, which is great. But that means we're losing the human connection, which means the more we get that, the more we crave human connection. And one of the ways I show up on LinkedIn sometimes is with mistakes, right? But at least you know it's me.
Right, exactly. And that's what people crave is real. And it's the same you can kind of see it a little bit in marketing. And once again, it depends on what your algorithm is showing you. I got a great tip the other day from a guy I really respect. And he goes, "You're tired of your algorithm? Just start searching on Facebook or wherever for rainbows and kittens, and do that for 2 days and watch your entire algorithm change." And I was like, okay, I haven't done it because obviously I have some clients I'm working with right now. But yeah, come here, got all this rainbow and kitten stuff on here. But yeah, because we've gone from social media to interest media.
Yeah.
AI has gotten so good at where to place whatever we produce. That can be a LinkedIn post. It can be an ad. It knows exactly. It can be an email. It used to be a long time ago where you couldn't put free or sale in your subject line on email, or it would automatically go to spam. But now the AIs reads your entire email, watches, quote unquote, your video in milliseconds. So it knows exactly where to put it. The awesome part is you don't need 50,000 followers. You can have 10 followers and have a killer video or a post, and it can explode. It can go viral. Where it used to be you had to have at least 50,000 followers or they wouldn't show it to anyone. So times are a-changing, Christine.
They sure are, and time is coming up as well for 10:30. So unfortunately, we're going to have to finish this because I always love talking to you and I could carry on. As you said, explode, your camera just changed and you went back and it is now looking more normal than before. But it looked normal before as well, but it's changed now.
It's AI. What can I tell you? You just can't get away with it.
No, you can't. They're watching and seeing anything, aren't they? It's like every time you talk about something with my husband, next thing you know, I'm getting ads for it. I'm like, I didn't really want ads for that. It was just a funny conversation, right? And you're like, no, I really don't need that. And they show you ads for these products. You're like, no, that's not where we want to go.
Yes, I know. Interesting things in store, that's for sure.
But if we can retain our humanness and we are not afraid to show up with mistakes and our uniqueness, right? Whether that's your voice, your accent, whatever it is, don't be afraid showing up yourself because it's about being authentic these days. And authenticity does count a lot, I think, from what you're saying as well.
Absolutely. And talk to people. Don't be afraid to talk to each other. Come on.
Let's start having conversation, and maybe that's just raising a question or whether that's adding a little value to someone. Absolutely. We're watching you. Absolutely, Jeff. Everyone is watching you from the AI perspective. Nothing is sacred anymore, right? I'm missing the old days in the 80s, though, where I could get away with so much and no one would ever know about what we got up to, right?
Oh, there are several shows I had on the air that would not fly today. That's for sure.
Exactly. I mean, from your radio hosting in the old days, what you can say to what you can say now, it's probably very different, right?
Yes, very differently. And very few humans saying them anymore.
Which makes for boring then. Now you've also cleaned up that it's boring, hey?
Exactly. We need a little more humanity in our lives.
And a bit more fun. Let's just have a laugh sometimes and
Absolutely.
Not get so stuck on, everything.
That's just like the sign I have right above my desk. I wish you could see it, except I'll give you the PG version. It's, hey, you've screwed up way bigger things than this. And it reminds me every morning that, like, hey, you're right, I have. So why not post this? Why not make this video? Why not put it out? So
exactly. And we never know who's this going to touch, right? So you never know who's going to respond to it. And it's not like you need 10,000 to respond. You just need the right person to respond.
Exactly. In fact, that's an old radio idiom. You never know who's listening. And
we're watching you.
Up to them.
So just as we finish up, where can people find you one more time? Anything you want to say so people can get in touch with you, etc.?
Sure. You can always find me on LinkedIn. It's just Royce Blake, or I have everything else is Voice of Royce. Gosh, I wonder where I got that name. So yes, voiceofroyce.com. I'm Voice of Royce on Substack, on Facebook. Where else did I forget?
Voice of Royce. That's going to be hard to say drunk, hey? Voice of Royce when you're drunk.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have to try that one day.
Voice of Royce. Okay, pound it into your brain.
Jeff is saying when you're off the air, do the non-PG version, Royce. Yes, when we're off the air, I had an idea what it might be. The words that we.
Yeah, it is, and in unnecessarily large letters, I might add. I don't know what I was thinking.
Sometimes we need big letters to make sure we see it, hey? I need glasses these days. I finally had to succumb and get glasses for reading. All right, I'll let you go. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jason, and anyone else who was on here that I didn't see. Thank you so much for being here, Royce. Always love chatting to you, and I'm sure we'll do it again soon.
I love you, Christine. It's always a pleasure. You turn every interview into